My husband called it love when he took my passwords. The first time I came home and found my laptop open, my husband Miles was at the table reading a chat with my sister. He said married people should have no locked doors, and if something happened to me, he needed access to everything. I felt weird, but also childish regarding a password from my own husband, so I handed over my phone code, email, bank login, calendar, and live location. He called it trust. I called it being reasonable. It turned into a second job. He texted if I stopped for gas on the way home. He asked why lunch lasted 40 minutes instead of 25. If my office wireless dropped and my location pinned 2 blocks away, he wanted a picture of where I was. Once he called 3 times during a staff meeting, then showed up in the lobby with coffee and that hurt smile that made me look like the rude one. He checked my card charges too and wanted explanations for stupid little things, like why I bought lipstick near work or why I went to the pharmacy without mentioning it. I worked accounts receivable. My life was invoices, grocery lists, and folding laundry while half watching bad crime shows. I was not sneaking around. That was the part that kept me cooperating. Every time I got upset, he made it sound so small. He just worried. He loved hard. He had been lied to before. If I pushed back, I was treating him like a stranger. I'm embarrassed by how long that worked on me, so I kept giving more. He added his face to my phone. He set my maps to share trips automatically. He said the tracking app on my car was for breakdowns. He read my work messages and decided one male coworker joked with me too much. The next day, that coworker asked why my husband had sent him a polite but unmistakable warning from my account. I wanted the floor to open under me. At a friend's birthday dinner, Miles made a joke about my little detours after work, and everyone laughed because they thought he was teasing. I sat there smiling with my face hot, knowing he was telling me he could see every stop I made. What I missed, and I'm embarrassed I missed it for so long, was how one-sided it all was. He had every password of mine. I had none of his. His phone stayed face down. His location was always off because of battery or bad signal or client privacy. One Saturday, he was gone half the day and said he had napped at his brother's apartment. His brother later mentioned being on a double shift. I heard it, noticed it, and still let it slide because by then I was used to being the one inspected, not the one who got answers. The crack finally came on a Tuesday. He told me he was having dinner with his cousin across town. Later, I called her about a baby gift and learned she was in Ohio with her mother. I did not confront him then. I said goodnight, watched him sleep, and felt something in me go cold. 3 days later, I found the second phone. He kept old tech junk in a locked file box in the hall closet. I used the spare key from our kitchen drawer, the same place he used to take mine. The phone was charged. The messages were not vague. There was a woman named Celia. There were selfies in an apartment I had never seen, shirts in a closet that was not ours, grocery lists for 2, takeout orders, and a lease renewal in his email. He had told her he was basically separated and only still lived with me because I was unstable and depended on him. My hand stopped shaking the minute I read that. It was almost helpful. It made everything line up. The tracking was never about safety. It was inventory. He needed to know where I was so he could schedule the rest of his life around me and make sure I never stumbled into it. I waited until he got home. I put the second phone, the lease, and printed screenshots on the table. He looked shocked for maybe half a second, then annoyed that I had gone through his things. He did not deny Celia. He said it only happened because our marriage had been distant. He said he needed privacy because I was emotional. Then, like he could still drag me back into his script, he asked why I had been near Maple Court that afternoon. I had never told him where the apartment was. I had found it from his email and driven there on my lunch break. I asked how he knew that, and he actually sighed like I was slow. He said if I was going to make a scene, he needed to keep an eye on me. He said it so calmly that I finally understood I could spend 10 years explaining basic decency to him and it would never reach him. I picked up the second phone to leave with it. Before I could lock the screen, it buzzed in my hand. A banner slid across the top. Ria arrived home at 8:43 in the evening. We were standing in our kitchen when his secret phone told him where I was.